Over the last 3/4 of a century, the mission of Boston's public housing has been revamped more than once. In Charlestown, the Boston Housing Authority is moving ahead with a plan to give its residents a ladder of opportunity. Thanks to a federal grant and some new money from the city, residents of the Bunker Hill development will have new programs in adult education, English language learning, and job training. To tell us about the program are the Director of Community Services for the Boston Housing Authority, Rachel Goodman, and the Director of Education for the Charlestown Adult Education Program, Lori DeLiva. Thank you both very much for being with us.
It's our pleasure.
I want to start with Rachel. Talk about this population in Charlestown, because I remember a long time ago, you could have been a struggling family, you get a job at the Navy Yard, and then you'd move to the suburbs. This is a different age.
Well, our resident population is far more diverse than the times you are referring back to. We have many residents who are immigrants who have come to this country from many places throughout the world. Our residents are of all ages, from birth to their 80s, and they are looking to really improve their lives and the lives of their families.
Laura, talk about what your program has been doing for people like the residents of this development.
My program has 3 levels of ESOL, English for second language learners, and high-set preparation, the former GED preparation for students who have left high school before completion. We provide 3 levels of ESOL, and they can take the next steps into high-set preparation if they need to. It's been about 20 years as an ESOL program, and more recently as a high-set preparation program.
Right, Rachel, what's being planned here is based on an approach used in some other developments around the country. Explain how that worked out.
Sure. So back in the late 90s, there was a demonstration project that was really trying to look at ways to incentivize work for residents of public housing. And there was this demonstration project that was called Jobs Plus, and it ran from 1999 to 2003. It was studied rigorously, and what was identified is that there are 3 key components: work supports, financial incentives, and creating a new culture in the development, in the community, that really supports and embraces work. So fast forward to last year, and HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is our primary funder of public housing, put out a request for proposals to say they were ready to fund another group of what turned out to be 9 housing developments throughout the country.
What is it like in a development, that culture of work? Is it just, you get up in the morning, you see people leaving at a certain time all the time?
Well, it really varies. At the Charlestown development, one of the requirements was that you needed to have at least 50% unemployment in order to apply. So about a little over half the development is not employed, keeping in mind that we do have residents who are into their 70s, 80s, and 90s for whom employment is not in their future anymore. And we do have quite a few families or residents who have significant disabilities, either themselves or members of their families, and it's been difficult for them to work. We do have residents who work very hard, and we have people who are working shifts that, 24/7, but it's a struggle because I shouldn't say most, but many of them are challenged to find really good family-sustaining wage employment.
Laura, you must have quite a range of people. You could have immigrants who have higher education and they need to brush up on the English, but you might also have people who don't have much formal education.
We do. We have quite a combination, and it's interesting to have them in the same ESOL class. Obviously, immigrants who had schooling in their own countries know how to learn and can make progress a little bit faster. We do have students that have never been in school in their countries, and obviously it's a little bit more challenging for them. We offer tutoring services. We have literacy classes for reading and writing, and basically have classes from very, very, very low beginning all the way up till high side.
What's that like for them to come into a class like this, to struggle, but also, come back the next day, do a little better, and get a little more confidence?
Yeah.
How important is that?
It's very important. If they don't see progress within themselves, then they don't have the desire to continue. And they really do show progress. They learn from each other. They collaborate a lot. It's nice to have this school in the community because they know each other. They help each other outside of the classroom. They work together. They come in sometimes on days that they don't have school and they collaborate on their projects together. They form friendships that they probably wouldn't have formed if they weren't able to leave the class and go into the neighborhood and have the same kind of relationships with their
Rachel, in addition to the language program and the high school equivalency, you also want people to get some real job skills too.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tell me about that.
So one of the things that we have and that's integrated into the adult education program is a computer learning center, which was revitalized about 4 years ago with other federal funds. And so we have residents who are in the classes who are learning how to use the computers, both for passing their high set, but also to help them with job search. Lori has a number of staff who, in addition to teaching, will also help the students as well as other residents in the development and in the community who are coming and looking to get support and assistance to find jobs. We're also working to connect them to skills training opportunities with partners throughout the city who are able to help them go through maybe a 6 or 9 month training program that will lead them to a better job that has a career pathway.
Lori, in addition to just trying to get a job or be more self-sufficient, I imagine if you learn these skills, overcoming your fear of computers, you can be more engaged with your children in their education.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a lot of the reason why people end up coming to the program that hadn't in the past. They have children in school and now they feel that they need to be able to work with their kids at home. They sometimes work together with their children on skills building. So it's a really great opportunity for family learning as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, Rachel, I guess the other thing here that you eventually could end up with is that you have people, just this new kind of mix of population in a way that it comes from public housing, and yet these are people who, some of them have jobs and other people can look at them as a model.
Exactly. And that's why one of the very exciting aspects of Jobs Plus is that we're really redefining and creating with the residents of that community a new sense of a community that supports work. So we have residents who, for one reason or another, may not actually go back to work or to go to work, but they will have a role in helping us identify residents, their neighbors, who want to participate, and they'll be able to provide support. For example, they might be able to provide some informal childcare. We envision that we will be doing regular support groups. We won't call them support groups, but there'll be opportunities where residents can help because, if you're looking for a job, it may take a while, and there's nothing better than having someone in your corner encouraging you to come, because it can be kind of lonely sometimes when you're looking for work. And if you've got a neighbor who is out there saying, what can I do? You want to come by sometime, I'm happy to cheer you on. And we envision, in conversation with the residents who've really helped design and will really be the lifeblood of this program and ensure that it's successful, to see what it is they want, and part of our role will be to help create that with them.
Thank you both very much, Rachel Goodman and Lori DeLiva. In a moment, we'll talk about a new documentary on the civil rights movement and the role of people from Boston. But first, this message.